I'm breathing. Are we done with the madness? I think we're done with the madness. I think. Fingers crossed. I guess fourth time is a charm. I guess. Ah! I don't know how long it's gonna let me stay live. Okay. Um, I'm hesitant to even start. I'm surprised I even got back into this one. Before you got the live working, I had just saw 444. Yeah. So far so good. We hear and see you. Yeah. Uh-huh. It's working for now. I'm okay. It's okay. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Won't lie. It's just a little stressful on my end. Um, Hi. If you're catching this and you've never seen my channel, I'm just a little exhausted from all the glitches that have just happened already. That's all. But anyway, welcome. I'm Island Turtle. This is BOMISpirit. We're gonna do the weekly intuitive astrology messages for September 23rd to the 29th. It is working, so I'm just fingers crossed it stays that way. I don't know what the hell is going on with YouTube. I have no idea. No idea. That was the weirdest glitchiness I think I've experienced in quite a bit, like back to back to back. That was so bizarre. Anyway, welcome. Yeah, she's unstoppable. Yeah, like there was no way I was just gonna say, oh well, like no. No, 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 no. Just no. Not with the energies we've had, not with like just everything that's happening right now. And also I want to do it. So if I want to do something, I'm gonna go do it. That's kind of just it. So for again, those of you who are new, the way this works, I'm going to give you my 2 cents as far as what's going down this week energetically and just how that could potentially manifest for you. I'm going to go over some astrology and some channel messages and maybe pull cards as well. Is going on. I know. It was just like, it was like, it's not a big deal. That's no big deal. It's fine. Love seeing the Halloween decor. Thank you. I need that kind of stuff around this time of year. It just makes me so happy and just puts me in the spirit. And now that we have officially moved through the fall equinox, which closed out yesterday, I feel like we're still kind of in that window today, to be honest with you. We're officially in it. We're officially in fall and very happy to be, honestly. And what's going on this week is really awesome. All of it feels really good. All of it feels very supportive for wherever we all could be potentially. Excuse me. And just know, again, especially for those of you who are new, even if you're not new and you just have only been around for a short amount of time, just know that when I talk about astrology and I tell you about all these things that I am feeling, perceiving, even just looking at as far as astrology is concerned, it's not a nail in the coffin, right? This is just a window of energy and you can utilize it to whatever whimsy you have as far as how you want to experience anything. Free will is a huge thing, you know, and all that. So I just wanted to give that little disclaimer, okay? I've also been noticing like the way I'm reading is like shifting a lot. So I'm also just trying to like flow with that to the best of my ability. Yeah, it's like we've been very macro. Like my readings, I think, are very like big picture, kind of cosmic-y sort of reads versus stuff that really goes on more in like the superficial, like 3D kind of, not superficial, not isn't a bad thing. Superficial just meaning on the surface, like what we're just kind of experiencing day to day. Hasn't really been quite like that in some time. And I feel like we may be shifting into a nice balance of the two, which is nice. I'm definitely still navigating it though. And I tried to do readings yesterday. I only did Virgo. I wanted to do 3 signs. And after like a couple hours, I was only able to do Virgo. So I took the hint and I was like, okay, it's not the day for reads. But even what came through for Virgo, I think is very collective. And I think that's also just like, I was just in this space of transition with myself personally through the equinox portal, which is why I also feel like, okay, my reads are changing, and that's also why I shouldn't have done like readings yesterday. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Ramble, ramble, ramble. Welcome. Don't forget to hit the like button, by the way. If you are in here, I would greatly appreciate it, as would other people. And hopefully it keeps the video running. No more glitches after that weirdness. I'm just gonna go ahead and get the labels ready for the timestamps and then we'll get into it. I bit my tongue, I guess, in my sleep, and my tongue is like killing me. Let's see. Overview, astrology, collective, the groups. I know we're doing groups today. I have not felt how we're navigating that, and maybe it will come up in the moment. This is just what it is to like go through transitions when like the way you're used to doing something, or just like kind of what, just like your natural flow to things that you're used to start to shift, especially big things like that, like how your own like gifts work is like it's shifting for me. So I'm just like finding my new groove here. Anyway, on a way. Let's go ahead and get into the overview of what is going down this week, okay? Starting with the fact that Mercury is moving into Libra from Virgo. Mercury is a huge component this week, as is Mars, Saturn, and the White Rabbit asteroid. And we'll get into all of that. But I want to really emphasize this shift that we're experiencing with Mercury, because Mercury is so active and is also working with the White Rabbit asteroid. When I tuned into it, it was kind of funny how it's coming through. It's like this week we're experiencing this like peak or this climactic energy of experiences where maybe we've been researching a lot. Maybe we've been looking at all the potential and possibilities of how certain experiences can play out, whether it's relationships or work or health or just life in and of itself, right? Or maybe you're like been wanting to learn just maybe something new or go back to school, right? That Mercurial Virgo like kind of space. But they were saying it to me like, it's the research that you do before you buy the computer, before you find out where to buy, get the best price, get the best software that fits your needs, that's long lasting. And then moving into Libra, speaking mostly to this specific period of time, not like explicitly Mercury Libra universally for all intents and purposes, like specifically to this moment in time, doing all of that and finally being able to say, I can go buy the computer now. I can go and actually invest now. It's that transition from mutable to cardinal, from what are the puzzle pieces, how do the puzzle pieces fit, to actually gluing the puzzle pieces together. And investing, committing, those are huge themes this week, but all of it feels really, really good. And I think some of you have been waiting a long time for this kind of window. Some of you have already moved through this kind of energy before. And so if that's the case for you, this could just be another window to kind of deepen your investments and your commitments and devotions, whatever those may be for you, your priorities essentially, right? Another theme that we have going on that is four lives. Yeah. I know. Of course that would happen to a Uranus 6th house natal placement. Of course it would. Anyway. Technology. Okay. Sorry, I'm like, it was very upsetting to have to deal with that. So I'm trying not to get back into those feelings and just kind of get refocused. So I'm done talking about the glitches now. Anyway, moving on. So the other big theme that we have for this week is also fears and desires. This is a continued theme that we've had. And thanks to Venus square Pluto in the beginning of the week and how Venus transits out of that, amongst some other aspects that we'll get into, there's a lot of like bubbling up of a lot of desires and feelings. Some of you could have already moved through this. Some of you, it could be hitting you now or coming up. Keep in mind, I'm speaking to the astrology right now, not necessarily like channeling a timeless message here, just for those who are watching later. Whatever bubbles up or has bubbled up, whether it's restlessness, whether it's anxiety, whether it's anger, whether it's elation, whether it's bliss, it could be anything, any kind of just bubbling up and like overspill of just like really intense, palpable experiences of emotions, whatever those emotions may be, are really showing you what you truly desire and also what you truly fear, right? So if it's coming up more as like anger and like anxiety, that's obviously the fear talking, right? But that can show you what you're afraid of, which in turn can lead you to your desires. We've been talking about this now for a Lord time. I don't know, like, I know it's not 2 months, but I'm just going to say 2 months because that's what wants to come through. But I know it's not 2 months. But even the Island Turtle Talk episode that I last did, right, of like mastering your sword and like discerning through the noise, and how we move from fear to fearless by hunting down our fears. And that's when we really see what we really care about, what we really value, what matters to us, right? So we're still in that a little bit, but with this week, as the bubbling over happens, it is honestly a really good thing, because especially if any of you have trouble discerning these things for yourself, and some of this stuff is also repressed desires, repressed fears, and all of that. As things bubble up, you can start to really see and feel and experience these things a lot more tangibly, which will also just bring a lot more clarity as well, which is like, who doesn't love that, right? And now that there is this clarity around fears and desires, with all of this like investing and commitment energy, now we can really devote ourselves to our desires in a more serious way, in a more confident way. And again, some of you may already be doing that. There's just a time to deepen those commitments if you've already done that. All right. And for those who have been in this like fog of confusion, there's definitely been a part of the collective that's been experiencing that. This is also another window to get a little bit more clear and get out of the fogginess a little bit more. Decisions are also on the table here with commitments. Oh my God, my tongue is hurting me so bad. With commitments and investments, obviously, right? So if you have also been procrastinating making certain choices, this is just another window to deal with that procrastination, okay? Is there anything else I want to mention? I actually, I don't think so. Oh, a little bit more about Mercury. So because of, oh damn, I meant to turn that off. Oh, whatever. If you guys can hear me, y'all can hear me, which I think you can. It's really noisy over here when the AC turns on, and it's distracting sometimes. But I think that's happened before, and you guys have said it's not a problem on your end as far as being able to hear me. So I'm just gonna assume it's okay. Anyway, so with Mercury, as we're shifting from Virgo to Libra in the way that I've already mentioned before, there's also a lot of excitement around learning and breakthroughs and insights because of some Uranus activity. And also don't be surprised that while you are ready to invest or deepen your investments, your commitments, your devotions, etc., it's okay sun-wise. Thank you. Appreciate the confirmation. While there is this readiness and more confidence and clarity, eagerness, readiness, etc., to invest, to commit, all of that, the past is going to play an important role here this week in ways that may be very unexpected. The past, our past, individual past, collective past, the role the past plays is, I'm not going to say roadmap, but that was the word that wanted to come through. It's not about reliving the past or being stuck in the past. It's not about that. It's about really relying on what the past has given you as a gift, which is usually the gift of wisdom. Right? That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is learned experiences and attaining knowledge and being able to put that into practice because you've experienced it so much, right? That is the wisdom that we all carry uniquely from our own life experiences. So that will come into play this week as well as you are deepening your commitments, investments, or starting some. Remember, we are in eclipse season, and new moon Libra eclipse is like right around the corner. I will be live this weekend probably to talk about the new moon Libra eclipse over on Patreon, just for those who want to be there for that. And new moon Libra, also with all this Libra energy that we're in, is also part of this, okay, I'm ready to invest more. I'm ready to commit more. I'm ready to devote more. So this will definitely play into what could be coinciding for you with the new moon Libra eclipse on October 2nd. Just wanting to put that out there. But coming back to the past energy, yes, it's about wisdom and experience, but it's also going to help you navigate these investments in ways, I want to say this, like there's so much about exploring possibilities and options that maybe you haven't considered before. And it feels like doing this in relation to how the past is helping you in the present. Sorry, so many things are coming through. I know we're going to get more into this when we get into the astrology portion, so I'm also trying not to like go too deep into it since we're going to talk about it anyway. But just know that the way forward of your investments, of your commitments, of deepening what it is you're devoted to, may be very unexpected from what you would have anticipated previously. I guess that's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said. Okay, all right, now let's get into some of the astrology. I didn't get to finish my notes because I was running late, but I do have my rough notes and I've got some of my fancy notes, so we're just gonna roll with it. Let's see. All right. Okay. So let's talk about fears and desires first. Let's talk about Venus here, okay? Now, at the beginning of the week, Venus in Scorpio is square Pluto in Capricorn. And as Venus moves out of that square, it will move into a sextile with Ceres, while Jupiter in Gemini is still sextile Chiron. That Jupiter sextile Chiron is really just helping to bring a lot more confidence and ease and grace and optimism with facing certain challenges or opportunities that bring out a lot of our own past insecurities to help us really get over them or really help us put them to bed or put them to rest, make peace with them. That's been there. We've been experiencing it. It's a nice little help. It's a nice little boost. Okay. But Venus, the activity of Venus. In the beginning with Venus square Pluto, I talked about this in the last weekly about the square. It really intensifies emotions. It intensifies craving. It intensifies what you want to have, your desires. Scorpio and Pluto in bed together, essentially. Even Capricorn, right, kind of plays into that. And obviously Venus plays into that. They all kind of play into that. Whether this is about money, power, control, intoxication, just feeling good, or intimacy or sex, it has a very karmic-y flavor to it, okay? Usually kind of translates into karmic relationship experiences, but for some of you it could actually relate to money since both Venus and Capricorn and Scorpio both dabble in the realm of finances. So don't be surprised if that's part of it for you. Now, Venus and Scorpio is also an interesting placement because it's how do I want to say, it's not debilitated, but some astrologers look at that as being to a detriment. Sorry, I think I was seeing something. Since Mars is the ruling planet of Scorpio, and with it being in Venus, it's kind of in the other polarity. And so it really brings out a little bit more of the sensualness of Scorpio, but also the part of Scorpio that likes to have, that likes to possess. I mean, let's just be real, right? That's just what Scorpio is about. So if this has been coming up for you, I think that's probably more in the realm of what has been bubbling to the surface. Some of you, this is going to be about your past experiences of these kinds of energies, right? Being in power dynamics or having issues with control or being power hungry or addiction or sexual relationships or even just straight up karmic relationships. Manipulation and deceit tends to be kind of entangled in Venus square Pluto, especially with Scorpio and Capricorn at the helm of those planets. So whether this is bubbling up because of what you deeply desire kind of falls into those realms, or you've got some emotions from past experiences that haven't quite been dealt with, and so those may bubble up to the surface if they haven't already, all right? All it's doing is helping you with a roadmap of your feelings, okay? That's all it is. A roadmap of all of the spectrum and complicated emotions of what it is to be human, in the form of anger, craving, even bliss and elation, all the things that I already described, right? It's just showing you your fear and your desire. Remember, Scorpio is about desire. And as we start to move out of that, again, you're going to be more clear on what you truly want, what truly matters to you, and also what you're afraid of. But Venus is going to start to move into a sextile with Ceres in Capricorn, and it's going to help us focus that energy, which is also really nice because Capricorn is very focused, Scorpio is very focused, and Ceres just likes to nurture and really bring things to life, and Venus likes to experience life and what comes of life and all that good stuff, right? So as you move out of the bubbling over of those emotions, you will probably have an easier time taking all of those emotions and actually being productive with it. Actually being able to discern, okay, if I'm really wanting these kinds of things, let me go and figure out how to get those kinds of things, essentially. So really, really nice here. And as far as where all of this is going down in your personal houses, I would say just focus on Scorpio, honestly. Jupiter sextile Chiron is just an assist. It's not like the main event, so to speak, and it's a positive force, but it's not anything that I would say is worth focusing on. If anything, it's a very internalized kind of energy. So Scorpio, 0 to 10 degrees is where I would look to see where you could possibly be experiencing this bubbling up of emotions, cravings, desires, fears, anxieties, anger, all that stuff. Sexual frustrations even wrapped up in that. But that's where I would look. That's where I would look for that. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Mars. So this is where commitment comes into play. Very fascinating dance, actually, that's happening here. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, I must have bit my tongue so hard in my sleep because it's like it keeps like rubbing up against my teeth, and every time it does, I kind of want to wince a little bit. Anyway, don't mind me. So Mars in Cancer is trine Saturn in Pisces the entire week. The entire week. I do believe it's strongest. I think I wrote it down on the 30th of September. Yeah, it's strongest on the 30th of September. Hold on, let me have my rough notes over here. And I'll have you over there. Yes. So when Mars and Saturn get into a trine together, before we even consider the signs, it's actually really, really positive for devotion, for commitment, for taking your motivations, your drive, and all of that energy and momentum and applying it to something, being disciplined with it. It actually also bodes well for marriage. It's a really, really great aspect to have if you are deepening your commitment to somebody, especially with them being in Pisces and in Cancer, right? That's matters of the heart, matters of the soul, that's family, that's loved ones, that's emotional security, that's how we like to nurture other people, be of service to other people, take care of other people. So it's really, really nice for that, for those where that applies, for you. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Saturn in Pisces is opposing Vesta in Virgo and Orcus in Virgo. So Vesta and Orcus are working together in Virgo while they're opposing Saturn. And Mars is also square Lilith and opposing Ceres. So this is where it gets a little funky, because that square to Lilith and the opposition to Ceres, it's almost, when I tuned into it, it felt like a battle for desire is how it felt. Because that's what Lilith is. Lilith is just like our primal impulses, our darker impulses. And in Libra, that is about balance and harmony and relationships and love and pleasure and sensuality and beauty and art and all the good, yummy things about life, right? Even diplomacy. I just tuned into something interesting there. Sometimes Lilith and Libra, this is just literally what they're telling me to say. So this is just channel. This is not explicit astrology practices. Can be a little manipulative. Actually, Lilith and Libra can translate to people pleasing and straight up manipulation to get a desired outcome, right? Doesn't have to be used for bad, right? Doesn't have to be used for evil, so to speak. It can be used for the better good of the situation, but they were definitely emphasizing that. Interesting. Anyway, so you have Cancer and Libra in a square, right? And it's like they both are about relationships. They're both about desire to an extent and what makes us feel good. But Libra is a little bit more of that diplomatic, again, they're both kind of manipulative in a way. We'll get into it. So they have similarities, but they prioritize different things and their approach is different, okay? And Libra definitely cares a little bit more about money matters than Cancer would. And so while there is a lot of motivation from Mars and Cancer to be committed and devoted to what is emotionally nourishing, or even to loved ones or tribe or family or domestic life, Libra cares a lot more about how the financial component ties into that, and even like how things could, how do I want to say this? Try to use my words carefully. The consequences is almost what I want to say. The consequences of devoting and committing yourself. Well, Mars and Cancer just gives a shit about what feels good in the heart and what is emotionally nourishing. Sometimes Mars and Cancer can be a little overprotective of other people, and Lilith and Libra can be the same. So it does, again, they kind of speak to each other, but in the square, it just creates a little bit more of a battlefield of what your approach is going to be. Is it going to be more in the Libra realm and maybe a little bit more self-serving, even to an extent, because Lilith is just kind of like that? Or is it going to be more in the Mars Cancer realm, where it's going to be more about protection and holding it down for other people and family only, tribe only, almost like an exclusive sort of a vibe there? So you may feel like you're torn between how you actually want to approach deepening some of these commitments or approaching investing, right? And the Ceres component here is interesting too, since they're both opposing each other. So you have Cancer and Capricorn. And remember what I said before about Venus working with Ceres, where it's actually helping us to focus some of that energy a little bit more and be productive with it. Here, it also has another bit of like, can you balance the way you're going about it, right? More practical versus more emotional. Mars in Cancer is technically debilitated, and so this is just something that they're emphasizing to me to emphasize in this present moment is sometimes Mars in Cancer, if it's under pressure, can be a little impulsive actually, because Mars in Cancer is driven by emotions. It's not driven by logic. It's not driven by strategy, which is easier with Mars, but since that's not there, it can actually, yeah, create just a little bit of a impulsive, not totally thinking about consequences in the future as much as one should. So something to balance there, something to sit on as you are deepening your investments and or starting certain investments, okay? Now, Saturn opposing Vesta and Orcus, um, mm, trying to balance Pisces and Virgo there is kind of interesting because it is balancing the practical and the emotional and like the non-physical realm, but more so Saturn feels like it's almost fighting for more. How do I want to articulate this? Saturn in Pisces has been teaching us how to let go and how to detach and how to forgive and how to be open-minded and how to surrender and how to flow, right? While Vesta and Orcus is like, hey, we feel called to do shit, let's go do it. Let's go tangibly get our hands on something and start to really get into it, really start to learn about it, really start to execute it. Saturn in Pisces may bring about some doubt as far as actually going and doing some of those things, especially if there are certain beliefs, relationships, ways of just being, even like spiritual practices that you need to probably evolve before you can fully confidently go towards what it is that you feel called to do. Okay, so that's how that wants to be said. Now, moving on to the last bitty bit, which is actually quite the biggest bitty bit. Mercury and the Sun. Hold on, let me open this really fast. Let's see. I tried to find my water and I know it's around here somewhere and I couldn't find it, so I just grabbed this out of the fridge. All right. Oh, the Sun and Mercury. They're both doing a lot this week. So at the beginning of the week, the Sun is working with Pluto and Sedna, and Mercury is working with Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the White Rabbit asteroid. And by the end of the week, the Sun and Mercury are working together in Libra. So how does this all like play out? First of all, let's talk about the Sun component. The Sun working with Pluto and Sedna is helping with that component of, remember what I was saying before in the beginning of the video, in the overview of this, we're going to move from this space of researching the best computer, the best software to fit our needs, doing the puzzle before we glue the puzzle pieces together. Like I'm talking about that period of time while Mercury is still in Virgo. Okay, so this is very much looking at the pieces, looking at the possibilities, looking at what we can do to navigate, what's realistic, what's not. That's the kind of space I'm talking about right now. Okay, so the Sun working at Pluto and Sedna just helps with the research component, helps with the deep dive, helps to really see the potential and the possibilities and all of the moving pieces. It also is going to help with any powers of persuasion that are needed. Mercury will do that too. If you feel like you need to get someone to hear you out, this will help. This will help with that. The Sedna component is actually really nice. Sedna is a more of like a far-reaching sort of generational experience, but normally I don't talk about it just because of that, but they were really emphasizing to talk about Sedna, so I do feel like it's playing a bigger role this week than maybe I initially realized. But including the Sedna component, as you do a little bit more of the deep dive into potential, right, and possibilities and options, there's a treasure trove, is what they were saying to me. A treasure trove of information, of knowledge, even like revealing secrets, which I think is kind of interesting, and friendship and relationships to be discovered if you allow yourself to really dive into understanding all of the pieces, all of the potentials, all of what is available to you at your disposal. Really open your mind this week if you haven't already. I think you're going to be surprised at what has been in front of your face and what has been available to you for like a very extended period of time. And if you open yourself up enough, you're going to be able to see that. Okay, whether it is about work or family or relationships or health or whatever it is that you're prioritizing this week. Now, the Mercury component. Oh, Mercury. I just can't believe how much Mercury is doing this week. If you look at my notes, it just looks a little crazy. So like I mentioned before, the White Rabbit is assisting Mercury. All that's doing is really amplifying the curiosity around Mercury and also helping to see the different portals. Oh, I just bit my tongue again. Also, also helping to see all the different portals, because that's what White Rabbit does. White Rabbit opens little rabbit holes for people to fall into, essentially. But White Rabbit is also associated with curiosity and learning. Also, in a kind of interesting way, getting out of your own realm of consciousness, whether that's through like spirituality or literally like mind altering substances, is also ruled by the White Rabbit. Just putting that out there. But anyway, White Rabbit is just amplifying the curiosity around all of this stuff that I'm talking about. Okay, helping you to see again all of the pieces. Now, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Three big things are happening with Mercury at the beginning of the week, really peaking around the 25th, right before it moves into Libra. Okay. One, Uranus is really helping with major breakthroughs and insights and being open-minded and willing to share ideas and willing to learn from other people. Really, really awesome. We love that. Neptune, because it's in opposition, that's still bringing some noise, some like psychic noise, even emotional noise. This is going to affect relationships more than anything else, but some of you, it could be affecting like how you're looking at the puzzle pieces. So that's where mastering your mind, mastering your sword is coming into play here, with making sure that fear and paranoia is not creeping in. Even in the way that I mentioned about like Venus square Pluto, some of that is also in there. So if you got a handle on all that, you're fine. Just know it's creating noise and illusions, okay? But Mercury trine Pluto, also helping with powers of persuasion. You get Mercury and Pluto in bed together, that's what they're going to do. It's going to enhance your own analytical ability and also your intuitive thought process, like being logical, but there's intuition all tied up in your logic. So it's a really nice like balance actually of the mind and the heart going on there. Remember, it's just like the power of Pluto, right? I almost wanted to say Scorpio, but I mean, Pluto obviously rules Scorpio, but I know Scorpio's not tied into that, but they wanted me to mention it. So just interesting. So all of that is going down the beginning of the week. So to reiterate, before Mercury moves into Libra on the 26th of September, we have a huge help in seeing all that is available, all of the pieces, all of the information, all of the knowledge, everything is right there. So if you have been confused, this is a great window to alleviate that confusion. This is the time to try on the dress, try on the shoes, research the computer, research the software. And then once we hit that shift of Mercury into Libra, then it's time to buy. Then it's time to invest. Then it's time to commit or get ready to do so. And the new moon Libra will probably be a very good eclipse time or period of time to actually physically do it if you want to wait a little bit. And after Mercury moves into Libra, the Sun, Mercury, and the South Node will all be working together in Libra. There's also an interesting shift here. This is also where the past comes into play. So think about this. The Sun, Mercury, and the South Node in Libra together. Another way of looking at that is the Sun and Mercury opposing the North Node in Aries. This is where the past is actually a help, because what we are getting clear on actually relies a little bit on that South nodal energy, not necessarily the North node energy. If we're leaning really far into that Aries component, the North node, that's where we can actually get potentially a little bit confused and feel like there's not really a direct way forward. It's not going to be direct either way. It's not. You may feel more confident. You may feel very clear in your intentions and what is a good fit for you and how you want to navigate things, but it's not going to be super direct. And then also on top of it, Mercury, the Sun, and the South Node are all sextile Pallas Athena in Sag. So there is more of a diplomatic kind of approach here, which is more Libran. That's not really Aries. Like Aries can be diplomatic. I feel like if they are really at peace with their inner Libra, they can be very diplomatic, but they are much more the emperors, the initiators, like this will be the way. That's not how Libra works. Libra goes, here's the options, and Libra tries to guide into a certain direction. That's kind of more how Libra works. It's a little bit more passive than Aries, even though they're both very cardinal in nature, right? They're both cardinal signs. So the Pallas Athena in Sag component also is amplifying that. So it's not going to be direct. It's actually going to be unexpected. It's going to look very different than what you initially anticipated maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, depending on what this is highlighting for you, right? If this is all in the realm of relationships, since relationships seem to be so important this week, this is going to be a different way of communicating. This is going to be a different way of getting people to hear you. This is going to be a different way of how you present information or how you present options, right? Again, think how Libra works. And yes, sometimes Libra can be manipulative, but this is where it doesn't have to be for negative purposes. This is actually very well intended. How do we get to the best result? How do we get to the best experience, right? Even if there has to be a little bit more of persuasion going on, and maybe even a little bit more manipulation going on, and presenting things that maybe no one ever considered, or presenting things that in a way you never even tried before, right? Sag is really highlighting that as well. If this is in the work realm, obviously your approach to the people you work with, or even like bosses or what have you, is going to be very different. It's like, it's almost like, I don't want to say, instead of being a boss, it's being a little bit more of like a mediator therapist, like in a way, right? Where you can see the middle ground, you can see where the best flow can be experienced, and you just try to guide everyone and all the pieces to that flow, even if it's about yourself. Does that make sense? God, I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to think of other examples here. Okay, if this is just about you, maybe you are very set in your ways. Maybe you do things a certain way and you don't like to deviate because they have always worked. This is about you getting out of your comfort zone and just doing, just trying on different things that you've never tried on before. I don't know another way to explain that. I thought I was on track with having a different example. I'm like, no, that's exactly what I've already said. Okay, here's an example. Maybe you're very spiritually inclined. You probably are, since you were here. Instead of a spiritual approach, maybe you actually go and pick up a book, right? That has more hard facts, more science in it, more STEM research related things, regarding what it is that you want to try to figure out, or what you want to try to navigate, right? I think I've made my point. I think I've made my point. I can't think of other examples. I hope that makes sense. I hope that lands. Oh, excuse me. And that's it as far as the astrology is concerned. So I know I threw a lot at you. I tend to talk a lot. And I hope it made sense. But that is all the astrology of the week. I'm just going to write something down in my notebook, and then we can get started on the collective message. All the spiritual people tap the like button. Yes, please. Pretty please. I appreciate. Others appreciate. I gotta figure out what to do about this glitch for next time. I don't want to because that was stressful. I don't want to be ready and then have that just happen back to back to back. I don't know how to get around that. I'm gonna percolate on that. Thanks for the astro talk. You're welcome. There's always astrology in these, for those who are wondering. I always start with astrology for the weeklies. Move these away. Okay. The decks are calling to me. Are we doing Big Bertha? Big Bertha could be really fun. I'm also feeling the Astro Oracle too, actually. Okay, I'll let those sit there for a minute. Is North Node in Pisces? In Vedic it is, in Tropic not yet. In Tropic it will be, I want to say January 9th, maybe even January 11th is when that shifts over. Okay. Your lives help a lot. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Sometimes you wonder, for anybody who wonders what it's like to be on this end of things, to be doing, content like this and putting the messages out there, you have moments. I mean, we're all human. We're all human. We have moments where we're like, am I helping? Is that landing? Is that supporting people? So thank you. Thank you for saying that. Always appreciate these lives. Feels so good to be in this space. Good. I'm glad you feel good. Okay, I'm gonna change the timestamp one more time. I got to talking again. Okay. All right, let's get into the collective messages for the week here. Rockin' Robin, thank you. Oh, a little lemon emoji. Thank you. That's adorable. Thank you. I was just feeling out what deck to go with first. I'm wondering if I should save the star codes. Yeah, okay, I'm going to save that for the groups. Okay, we're going to go with Big Bertha. For those who don't know Big Bertha, she's a combo deck of Angels and Ancestors and the Starseed Oracle. I've had her for quite some time. She's a big girl, so she takes a little while to shuffle. Any messages or insights for the collective this week? Yeah, so they're emphasizing a couple things. Honor your feelings. Honor your feelings. Honor your feelings. Don't run from them. Don't suppress them. Don't try to quiet them down. Some of you may feel very uncomfortable when the bubbling over happens, if it hasn't happened already for some of you. The bubbling needs to happen. Okay, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It may feel a little bit like mood swings, but it's only going to help if you have been in a place where you haven't really felt super great about things. And if you've been in a place where you have felt great about things, then good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you feel good. Keep honoring the feelings. Keep honoring the feelings, because honoring the feelings is honoring your compass as well, which also cuts down on the noise, the psychic noise. Started watching you 5 months ago, and this is my first live. I want to express my gratitude. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. They're highlighting the wolf, which I'm not surprised, actually. The wolf is, instincts. It's instincts. Wolf comes in a lot of medicines, but that's what they're really highlighting here about the wolf is following your feelings, is following your instincts. Wolf can also bring out a primal side of us, which also hones in on fears and desires. Ooh. Just like energy just kind of swirled really quickly after I said that. So the wolf is coming out. Some of you could be resonating with the wolf. Some of you guys are probably connecting to the wolf already. I would pay attention to that if that is the case. I feel like I picked this up maybe last week, the Aloha Friday or the weekly, but I feel like there were some people in the collective that were really struggling with the notion of desire and having that be okay. It's okay to have desire. It's a natural part of being human, right? When we ignore that piece, any piece, when we ignore any piece of ourselves and they get neglected, that piece gets neglected, that's when things can actually start to go awry, right? Because when you neglect yourself, that piece of you is going unacknowledged, unchecked, and then it starts to manifest in all kinds of ways. So you don't ever want to ignore your desires. Understand them, get to know them, absolutely, and then you can decide what's healthy for you, what's not healthy for you, as far as listening to those desires or satiating those desires. But you don't want a hungry wolf on your hands, okay? We don't need more hungry wolves in this world. We really don't. So don't ignore your desires. Desires are not bad in and of themselves, right? Venus and Scorpio, I think, is also bringing that out very heavily as far as like, is it bad that I want that? Is it not healthy that I want to experience that? We're also here to have pleasure. We're here to experience, right? And these experiences don't always have to be so highly spiritual or the highest of high of purity. That's not what it is to be human. It's not what it is to be human. Anyway. Any messages or insights for the collective at this time? You should see him right now. He's just sleeping on his little cat tree that he's too big for. So he's kind of like spilling over the sides while he's sleeping. So cute. Anyway, sorry, cat mom. Any messages or insights for the collective? Thank you. Ooh. Oh, okay. Severing. Oh, there's a lot going on in that card. I'm sorry. Defenselessness, righting past wrongs, uprooting, and then we have Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. There's definitely some forgiveness going down this week for some of you. Some of you that's going to be in the form of making peace, but severing. I got drawn back to Saturn in Pisces, working with, oh my God, excuse me. Saturn in Pisces trine Mars in Cancer. Why was that so hard to say? That was so hard to say for some reason, but I just got drawn back to that. The severing, the severing, the severing, the severing. Oh, some of you guys are doing some major root work, ancestral work, all that stuff. Origin stories. When I say origin stories, I'm talking about origin stories of your beliefs, narratives. That's been a prolonged collective experience. So I'm just seeing that here. Now, when it comes to the past karmic experiences that I was referencing before with Venus square Pluto, there's a lot of peace being made there. But I also feel like I don't want to say, so hang in there with me with how this wants to come through. Like a severing of the portal itself, of the experience. You could say closing the door of the portal of looping on those experiences, but they wanted to say severing, like almost taking that sword and like severing it, cutting it. Yeah, cutting it down. Interesting, interesting, interesting. While this feels peaceful, hold on, no, let me retract that. While this is creating peace, and this is like literally, look at her. She's just like, I'm cool, I'm chilling. While this is creating peace, the moment of the severing, the moment of working through these like old karmic portals that some of you may be looping on in your mind, in your heart, facilitates peace. The moment of it, the experience of it feels primal, to be honest with you. It does. It feels primal. It feels very animalistic. That is also what I think could be equated to the bubbling of emotion, of anger, of rage, of anxiety, of pain, of even like the opposite of that, right? Elation and bliss. If ugly emotions come up like jealousy, envy, that's very on par with Venus square Pluto. Try not to judge yourself for it. Just acknowledge that it's there. And really work with that piece of you, really talk to that piece of you, okay? Because it is you. It's not some mysterious dark thing, it's you, okay? Again, that's also what it is to be human. Yeah, I just keep getting primal, 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 primal. This isn't just about wrongdoings that you suffered. It's also about ones that you initiated as well, okay? If you allow yourself, thank you. If you allow yourself to acknowledge those feelings and move through the primalness of it, a lot of peace can be had, a lot of releasing. Like I almost like feel on a physical level, like you could just feel like a burst of energy if you let yourself go to that primal place of it. Because the Earth Mother, I mean, it literally is like mama energy. It's literally Gaia. It's literally grandmother Earth. Like that's literally what she is. It's Empress. It's all of that. It's divine feminine. It's goddess. It's all of that. It's being at a very peaceful place within yourself and with other people. Some of you, this can also be experienced in the form of having love and compassion and understanding for these experiences and for the people involved in these experiences. It's definitely about relationships. Like this is not just a solo thing. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get a couple more. Can I get a couple more for the collective, please? Yeah, between Venus square Pluto, Mars trine Saturn, and the Sun and Mercury being working with the South Node in Libra, all part of that. All part of that. Some of you may experience this as a reclaiming of your power, of your energy, of yourself, of your peace. Some of you could experience it that way. Ooh, okay. We have the golden children, inner child. Yeah, tenderness, innocence, and gifts. Rare gifts. Again, I'm feeling the past here. The past. So something that came up in the Virgo reading that, like, now talking about the energy of this week, I think there's a collective message that was a big part of the Virgo reading. It's not on YouTube yet, but it is on Patreon right now. I titled it Exploring the Unexplored Path. I just can't stop feeling the nodes here with this. In letting the bubbling over happen and then getting, sorting all that shit out and really getting down to what it is that you desire, there's also this ability to really understand your past with a lot more clarity, right? When we have a lot of just like overwhelming emotions or just a lot of emotions in general around anything, it can make things really cloudy to actually discern and understand what it is that we're looking at and what has actually played out and what has actually happened. I feel like there is, like, as we are uncovering the clarity out of the muck of like Venus square Pluto, that clarity of the past is also clarity on ourselves, a clarity on what we're good at, a clarity on also what we haven't explored either. Mostly getting that. What we haven't yet traversed. I take that as confirmation. Yeah. That feels really nice though. I like the piece that's coming off of this. I just can't get away from that feeling of pulling these little gems from the past. And I kind of mentioned that before, right? Where it's like through knowledge that we've just attained from living our lives. But it's more than that. Looking at this, it's more than that. It's also just like skills. Skills that we've always had that we forgot. And also unexplored paths from our past, unexplored opportunities and relationships from our past as well. Very nice. Okay. All right. Little sippy sip and then we'll continue. Oh, excuse me. Since I'm saving that for the groups, why not? Let's do Priestess of Light. We'll do Priestess of Light here. Okay. Any other messages or insights for the collective? Any other messages or insights for the collective? Any other messages or insights for the collective? Yeah, healing the heart. Power of self-love. That definitely comes with all of this, right? Like severing, closing. Okay, my brain wants to say closing the portals of these karmic experiences, but they keep saying no, severing. I'm like, okay. It just sounds weird to say severing portals. It just doesn't like make sense to me, but whatever. Sometimes I argue with them. Severing the portals of these karmic experiences, it does a lot for the heart. It does a lot for restoring, again, peace within ourselves, right? And also this feeling of reclaiming ourselves from the past, our power, our sense of peace, all of that. All of that is wrapped up in this. All of that is wrapped up in this. And also like allowing ourselves to not be so hard on ourselves either for things that evoked a lot of shame, right? This Venus square Pluto energy just feels like a deep cleaning in a way. A deep like vacuuming up. Anything else? Clarity. Planning and releasing illusion. Yeah, kind of perfect actually. In severing these portals of these karmic experiences and also working through all of those like emotions, right? Getting to like the truth of what has happened and also getting to a place of peace and all that good stuff is actually allowing yourself to not feed the illusion, not be tricked by the illusion. I'm hearing muddy waters, like the difference between muddy waters and clear waters. I'm hearing Scorpio with that as well. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Harmony, thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah, it's just making things so much more clear. So much more clear. Some of you may have felt like you've been struggling with your intuition. I feel like that's more the effect of the muddy waters. And remember too, I've been speaking about this for definitely for a couple months, and mostly this was taking place in August, where there was this just like intrusion of like the collective fear in a way. Um, and some people were feeling that more than others, where it's like, wait, what's mine? What's not mine? Like a lot of psychic noise. I'm feeling that a little bit here too, going from muddy waters to clear waters. Crystal clear is what they're saying. Crystal clear. And planning around what it is that you care about. So just kind of repeating what I already mentioned, but I'm also feeling that with this as well, especially with the golden children. Starting to invest in what it is you actually care about. I want to say some of you have been waiting for something to activate. Like I just saw a crystal light up. Some of you have been waiting for something to activate. Hold on. What have you been waiting to activate? They said that that's all that needs to be said. Okay. All that needs to be said. Because you've been waiting. You know you've been waiting. Can I get one more, please, for the collective? And then we'll get into groups. I think the animals are going to be very chatty today. Can already feel it. Can I get one more for the collective, please? Just one more. Thank you. Ooh. I knew that card was going to come out. I should have called it. Sensuality. Freaking knew it. Feminine wisdom and passion. There's a lot of feminine energy going on this week. But this card coming out is kind of the epitome of Venus, even Venus and Scorpio specifically with that tiger going on there. Oh, Chris, thank you. 555. Appreciate you. Hold on. Let's like that. I'm trying to heart it. Will it let me? Come on. It like won't let me. Sorry, Chris. I'm trying to like your super chat, but it won't let me. Sorry. Anyway, don't want it to glitch out again. So that's coming out again. Like I said, I'm not surprised. I was literally just talking about investing in what it is you desire. This is literally speaking to desire and sensuality and passion and what we feel drawn to do, called to do, what even gives us energy and vitality as well. That's what our desires do for us, right? That's what our desires do for us. Some of you may have felt like for a while you've been in a rut. I'm definitely feeling that. The effect of Jupiter and Gemini square Saturn Pisces that we experienced through summer peaked in August. And it'll come back, just a heads up. That's coming back, I want to say late November. I could be wrong about that, but it's definitely coming back again before the end of the year. That can definitely create a feeling of being in a rut because it creates restriction, okay? If you have been experiencing that, I do feel like that is shifting. Thank you, they're correcting me. Has the ability to shift. Has the ability to shift. But that coincides with dealing with the muddy waters and dealing with all of the bubbling up of emotions and the karmic portals and really evoking more peace within the self and all of that stuff. Really realizing what your skills really are, remembering what they are, and what you haven't explored yet that maybe you have always wanted to explore, but you forgot you wanted to explore it in the first place. All of that, I think, is only going to help with getting out of this like rut-like energy for those who've been experiencing it. But yeah, this is just allowing yourself to fully step into your desire and your pleasure, okay? And allowing yourself to experience that, allowing that to guide you even. Some of you forgot that your own sexuality is a power as well. There's a lot of power in sexual energy. It's literally creative energy. Some of you forgot that. Some of you don't know. Either way, a lot of you will realize that or experience that on some level. Okay, very nice. Let's go ahead and get into the groups. Why do I feel surrounded by stuff? Did I felt a little claustrophobic all of a sudden. Okay, how are we doing this? Spirit, how are we doing this? I'm going to stick to 3 groups. I'm not going to do elements today. I can feel it. Like I can feel it. Like it should. Like there should be a different approach here. Hold on. Okay. Interesting. So let the animals guide you. Okay, I think I get it. Interesting. Not quite a different approach in my opinion, but okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull animals for the different groups, and that will distinguish the group. And we're gonna roll with it that way. Again, doesn't feel totally different, but okay. Couple more. Can I get an animal? Thank you. Okay, thank you. They're just confirming. Okay, these are going to be the animal guardians, is how they're saying it. Can I get an animal guardian for group 1? Can I get an animal guardian for group 1, please? Can I get an animal guardian for group 1? Okay. So group 1, you have Dragonfly. That is quite the guardian, I must say. Oh, as my voice just like cracked out. Dragonfly. This is third eye energy. The ajna. It's also about perception, intuition. Sometimes Dragonfly is about transformation as well. But to me, Dragonfly is very like related to the neurons, essentially. Related to the neurons of the brain. So like downloads and again, psychic awareness and intuition. But it's a little bit more, it's not so watery. It's not so watery. I feel like there's another way I should describe this. Well, actually kind of like crystallized, kind of like energy, like electrified. Yeah, it's not so much like a watery, intuitive sort of an energy. It's way more of a like electric frequency kind of deal. So interesting. So that's group 1. Can I get an animal guardian for group 2, please? Can I get an animal guardian for group 2? Really? We have the Camel. I'm feeling stuff, but I'm gonna wait. So Camel for group 2. Camel is very resourceful, very resilient, and there is an intellect that comes with that. I'm getting a little bit of like an elder energy too. So group 2, you could be hitting a milestone in your life where you feel like you are becoming elder, or maybe you are already elder, but maybe you're having to take on a new experience as an elder. Some of you even a teacher, which I would not say about Camel normally, but it's just what's coming through. But Camel is the overall animal guardian for group 2. Oh, sorry. I'm trying not to get into the messages too much, but I can't help it. Group 2, I should have did a timestamp. Oh, well. I feel like there's traveling. I feel like there's some sort of movement and almost like, oh, my tongue, sorry. Whatever this movement is, I do actually feel like there is, I'm not going to say a need for protection, but I do feel like Camel as a guardian is helping you. And it kind of feels a little bit like watching your flank, almost like watching your sides. Oh, so it's just what I'm getting. Anyway, group 3. Can I get a guardian for group 3? Animal guardian for group 3. I want to say bird or water for group 3, but we'll see. We'll see. For group 3, can I get an animal guardian for group 3? Oh, that's too many. Okay. Can I get an animal guardian, please, for group 3? Water. Froggy frog. I feel like group 3, I wouldn't be surprised if birds are a thing for you, because birds were coming through so strong as I started to tune into you, but then I was like, I see birds, but I feel water. So anyway, you do have that water energy here. Again, I do think birds are huge for you, group 3. I want to say it's time to speak up, actually. I do, yeah. It's time to speak up. We'll get into it. I don't want to get too carried away. All right, so we have our animal guardians. Hold on. Okay, so let's just get started with Dragonfly. Group 1. Put these 2 groups off to the side. Okay, Group 1. Dragonfly coming in as your guardian. Reminding you is what I'm hearing. Reminding you. What is Dragonfly reminding you of? Your direction? It's a weird thing to say. Your direction, your role, your position. I feel so much of like around Mercury and information and download. Some of you could even dabble a lot in technology, or maybe you like do that as like a career. You work in the tech field. If you do, I would say it's probably more like coding, or I heard back doors, interesting, or finding back doors. Suddenly like talking is getting a lot harder in your energy. Ah. Group 1, I do feel like you are getting a lot of information or a lot of downloads. I do. I feel like you just have so much going on in your mind. I don't think you're overwhelmed by it. Some of you may think of yourself as a scribe or have recently moved into that notion. If you don't know what that word means, it's just like you dabble in writing or learning or record keeping and even like speaking to an extent. Some of you may just feel called to that, but I just feel like there's a lot coming into the upper chakras with you. And Dragonfly is here as a reminder. A reminder. I feel like for you, the muddy waters that you have been clearing out, I want to say is actually the opinions of others, to be honest with you. There may have been some projections that have been taking place, or even, I'm getting like a pushiness now, actually. A pushiness. Push back. You probably have experienced a lot of pushback from other people because of your opinions and your viewpoints, but I think that's because you're actually just embodying a lot of truth that maybe people are not ready to hear, haven't been ready to hear. You may break people's brains, so to speak, with some of the things that you say or the way you think about things or view things. I'm getting like strong aqua now, like strong Aquarius energy. You don't have to have aqua in your chart. It's just the energy that's associated with that wants to be acknowledged. Well, let's go ahead and pull some cards for you, Dragonfly group. Starting with the Fae. Forgot. Star codes. Sorry. Forgot. We're gonna do these. And then we'll get into Fae. Okay. All the decks that I use are linked below, by the way, if you are wondering or want any of these for yourself. Any messages or insights from my Dragonfly group? Yeah, I want to say you like live in the air element. Or maybe you're being called to just kind of live in the air element, master the air element right now. Let's see. First house, interesting. Arrival. Yeah, this is having a very clear, confident understanding of who you are and why you're here and what you're about, how you work, how you function. This is so much about your brain, your mind, your perception, your beliefs, your words, your thoughts, your opinions. Again, very rooted in your identity and who you are and just how you function as a person. Yeah, I keep getting it's like when like a lot of people just like, I don't know, they just have a hard time with you. Honestly, just what I'm gathering. But I feel like they're kind of supposed to. It's just kind of the natural order of things, which doesn't always feel good. I know that doesn't always feel good, and that's probably made you question yourself a lot. If there were certain things that like you needed to do to adapt. And maybe there have been some things you need to do to adapt. I'm speaking to a large number of people here, right? So you know yourself best. But this is knowing who you are and just being very strong about it and very clear about it and not wavering from that. And again, how you function. Can I get one more, please? Wow. 12th house. Excuse me. The house of, well, Pisces, the house of the void, of all things that have ever been and ever will be and ever was. That's what I'm getting. It's like you have access to a lot of like knowledge and wisdom and just information in a way where I think people think you should not have access to that or you shouldn't know those things. Yeah, interesting. That's how it's coming through. Some people could view you as very intelligent or very wise beyond your years, but it's just how you work. It's just how you function. It's just how you're built. It's what I want to say. It's just who you are. Yes, you're analytical. Yes, you see a lot. Yes, you understand a lot. But I want to say a lot of this is just by way of downloads and information. Like some of you have access to the Akashic Records kind of a deal, like that kind of deal. And some of you are just highly intelligent and can just see the patterns of things and see how things work and how things connect. Again, how things function. Functionality seems to be a big thing here for you. And with first house and with 12th house is also really honing in on a completion of a cycle that you are going through that I think is crucial, has been crucial to your form of identity, how solid you are in it from the 12th to the 1st. Literally, that's from the end to the beginning, right? You do know who you are. What has muddied the waters has been listening to other people. Like, I hate to say it like that. That sounds almost egotistical. But there's a truth in that. There's a truth in that, because look at like the level of information you have access to, the level of truth you have access to. If other people don't get it, maybe they're just not supposed to get it. You're supposed to get it. This is how you're built. So interesting. Okay, let's continue. Let's get some cards from the Fae. Any other messages or insights? For the Dragonfly group? They're bringing back to the cycles of identity. You could also be going through a life milestone, if you will, as far as your like a milestone age or a milestone life cycle experience, like having a child or a grandchild or something along those lines that could also be taking place. Who else did I feel that for? Oh, the Camel group. Whoa! I kind of whistled there. Yeah, Singer of Transfiguration with 11. I love this card. It's the only card that has red in it, first of all. But this is very much like a Phoenix rising energy. There has been a completion. There has been a realization that is cementing you in who you are and who you have always been. Like, that's really what I'm feeling. Like, almost like this has really helped you with your confidence and feeling empowered in just who you are. Very nice. I just saw someone send me a super chat. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. And then we have the feline. 65 breaking down to an 11, which is kind of interesting here. I don't normally talk about this, but I'm feeling it strongly, so I just gotta be honest with what I feel. I am feeling something about a karmic debt with the feline, which is interesting. I want to dive deeper into it, but they're saying it's not necessary. Some of you have released a karmic debt. I want to say that's also part of severing the karmic portals that have been affecting you and affecting how you see yourself and your, like, how solid or not solid you've been in your form of identity. There's been some sort of karmic debt that's been tied to that. Tied to identity. How would that even work? Because I feel like what you've been experiencing with the muddy waters in the past is like people confusing you on who you are. Getting confused on who you are, only to pay off that debt and no longer be confused. They're saying stop, it doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll leave it alone. But I feel like you've paid off some karmic debt here. Definitely doesn't feel easy. Feels very arduous and very heavy and very dense and just a lot of confusion. And to be confused on identity is like, I mean, there's, when we're confused on anything, it's not easy, but to be confused on identity is like definitely no picnic. Let's see, can I get one more, please? Whoa, we got two. Yeah. Nice. Tabira of the Waters. By the way, two 11s here with 11 and 65. And then we have 37, which is cyclical, so 10 back to 1. And then we have 33, which is a master number. Just saying. But Tabira of the Waters, that is literally the card of healing waters. Crystal clear waters, as I was just finishing talking about the muddiness, right? It's also a card of allowing things to flow, allowing things to just be. I feel like with the feline and the karmic debt, so to speak, is you allowing that severing of these karmic like portals to be done and be closed out. And I want to emphasize this because I feel like certain words we just have such strong associations with that we don't really like hear the meaning behind it. So when I say severing from karmic portals, I am also referencing how we loop and continue to live out things that have bothered us, things that have hurt us, things that have weighed on our hearts and our souls. I'm not just talking like about literal portals of time and space. That's part of that, but I'm also talking about how we keep ourselves stuck in these loops in our minds and our hearts. Okay, that's also what I'm referencing there. And then we have fairies of the future with 33, which is beautiful here because while there is this like very solid sense of self now, very well formed, fairies of the future is how we literally navigate the future, how we navigate moving forward and taking steps potentially into unknown territory. This card also speaks of not relying on other people to make that choice for you and making that choice for yourself and being so strong now in who you are and like literally Dragonfly, right? The access of information that you have at your disposal is only going to help you with that. So just a reminder, yes, closing a cycle, beautiful transition. Yes, there's a lot of like cool things you could be moving into now that you feel more confident about. Don't rely on other people to make those choices for you. Okay. Ooh, I almost want to put ice cube on my tongue. Let's go ahead and move into some tarot. Yep. I'm gonna go with the glow in the dark tarot actually. I kind of missed working with it, so I pulled it out. Let's see. Okay. Any messages or insights for group 1, please, pertaining to this spread? Don't let other people tell you what your karma is. Sorry, that's just coming through really, not sorry, I don't know why I said sorry. That's just coming through pretty strongly here. Kind of similar to don't allow people to like guide you into your future. Like you have enough knowledge at your disposal. You know who you are. You should be able to guide yourself. Don't let people tell you what your karmic debt is. Because also it doesn't matter. I mean, realistically, it doesn't actually matter. Any other messages or insights for Dragonfly group, please, for this week? We have Chariot and the Page of Cups. So Chariot is a card of ascension and forward movement, or even like physical movement, like literally moving, getting in a car, traveling, that sort of deal. And then we have the Page of Cups, which is a card of innocence. Sometimes it's also an apology. Sometimes it's an apology. Why is the word apology sticking out here? God, a part of me is very tempted to say there may be some apology exchanged here as part of paying off the karmic debt. But why do I have a lot of resistance to even say that? I feel like that's more of a thought. I think that's a perception. That's like a notion. Um, I want to say some of you guys have not a weird pattern around apologies, but kind of like maybe never getting an apology or never giving apologies, like something like that is coming through. If that's the case, then it probably is something worth acknowledging. If you never give apologies ever, you might want to reflect on that. I don't know. It just doesn't seem likely that you could live your whole life and never give an apology, and that would be healthy. Just saying. I'm not a therapist. I'm just putting that out there. But some of you, I think, have probably been going back and forth about an apology. I feel like that is just like part of the loop. I feel like that's part of the karmic loop. Okay, so just not. I feel more the innocence here with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is a card of emotional honesty as well, and I feel like this is you giving this to yourself, recognizing how you have allowed other people to confuse you on who you are, and that you know who you are, and claiming that. Yeah, claiming that. Some of you feel like you may need to actually like claim yourself of like, this is who I am, and this is how I work, and this is just me, etc. Yeah, that's actually more of what I feel. Anything else for Dragonfly group? Anything else for the Dragonfly group? Whoa. Okay, we got two. Wow. Oh, wow, the majors, man. We have the World, closing the portal, and the Lovers. Chariot, World, and Lovers, 3 out of 4 cards are majors here. So look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Again, I feel like the Page of Cups is you just really being honest with yourself and allowing yourself to forgive and let go and have compassion for for yourself, for allowing people to confuse you, but also just allowing yourself to let things go. And the World is literally closing those portals. And then the Lovers card is a card of balance and choice and being in alignment with self, being in alignment with spirit. For some of you, it can pertain to a connection. I don't think so, though. I really feel like it's way more about your own connection to self and spirit and feeling balanced in that, in alignment with that, once you close out these karmic portals. Yeah. 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 And navigating the choices around that, which again, you don't have to rely on other people to guide you into your future. You can guide yourself very easily. Okay. Especially when you let go of this. All right. Okay. Moving on to Camel. Oh, man. They're coming out cuter and cuter emojis for the super chats. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize, but thank you so much, Kieran. I'm just going to say your last name, Kieran. Thank you. Appreciate you. Camel. Let's get into Camel, group 2. Okay. Group 2 with the Camel. Again, I feel like this animal guardian coming up really is to help you through I keep wanting to say like an actual move or a traveling experience. That's honestly the only 2 ways it's coming through. So maybe there's gonna be very few people who resonate with group 2, but yeah, like some sort of traveling experience or move. It's that kind of very physical like transition. And again, some of you, there's more of like a milestone sort of experience here around like elder or being an elder or with an elder. That's all like the wisdom of elder that's also coming through here. But that's really why I feel like Camel is here, to help you feel safe, help you feel protected. To help you feel protected. I feel like protection is coming up a lot for you. Again, I'm not going to say you need it, but I think you're feeling like it'd be nice to feel protected. And some of you already innately feel that. Camel in and of itself is a resourceful, I almost said mammal. They are mammals, but a resourceful animal as well. Okay. Let's get into the Star Codes Astro Oracle here. Whoa, okay, way too many. Any messages or insights for group 2 for the Camel? Dignified. With strength, 13 breaking down to a 4. I keep feeling like this is about your level of protection. You are very solid, even if it doesn't look like it. Yeah, because there's something about this like physical traveling or movement where it has the appearance that you're vulnerable, but you're not. But I want to say the appearance, like on paper, you look like you're in a vulnerable position, but you're not. I don't think people are like watching for a vulnerable moment. I don't think so. Maybe somewhere in your subconscious, you're worried about being compromised, or you're worried about being vulnerable and being in a compromisable position. Thank you. Compromising, being in a compromising position. You're worried about that. I do think some of you are actively worried about that, but you're not. You're very much not. Can I get another one, please, for group 2? 5th house with passion. Some of you are taking a risk. There's a lot coming in here now. Susie, thank you. A little laughing lemon. A lot of lemons today. Thank you for the $9.99. Yeah, okay. Some of you guys are taking a risk here with 5th house being here as well. I want to say you're like investing in a business. You're investing in a business, or you're sharing a piece of you that you haven't before, but it feels very public. Some of you guys maybe are gonna like start a YouTube channel or something like that. I feel like you're exposing your heart in some way, shape, or form, or going for something that you really want, maybe even going for a dream, but it's like, it does feel like it literally is requiring like a decent amount of money, or it feels like it's requiring a lot more time than you've had to give. Some of you are sacrificing some sort of stability to make it happen. Like, that's what I keep getting. You're following your heart, you're following a dream, you're following your passion, but you feel compromised to do it. You feel vulnerable to do it because it's almost like requiring like that pound of flesh, so to speak. That's the illusion, though. That's the illusion. You're actually in a really good position. Some of you, I think, have also been spending a lot of time getting prepared for this. If you have only come to the realization now, like, oh yeah, that is what I want. Holy crap, that is what I want. You will probably start getting into preparation mode for it. You're not as vulnerable as you think you are. You're not as compromised as you think you are, even if it's a risk. Yeah, I keep hearing exposed. 4s and 3s are pretty significant here for you as well. All right, let's get into the Fae. Yeah, this was like pursuing a dream. It's pretty specific. Like, sometimes 5th house is dating. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like it's literally pursuing a dream or a passion of yours, and you need to invest something or sacrifice something to make it happen. Like, the sacrifice feels like the actual investment itself, like literally a sum of money, or needing to move, or needing to take a class so that maybe you can't work as much. Like, you know what I mean? It's got that kind of feeling to it. But remember, Camel is resourceful. I think you're going to be fine. Yeah, Penelope Dreamweaver. Yeah, you're trying to make your dreams a reality. I know that's scary sometimes. I know it can be scary and a little anxiety inducing, but I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on you having a lot of support. a lot of support to make this happen here, okay? I'm getting a lot of reds. A lot of like red crystals could be helpful for you at this time. like red tiger's eyes coming through pretty strong. Carnelian's not red, but I am getting carnelian too. But red tiger's eye might be very helpful for you. Maybe you've got like a lot of fire in your chart. Even the camel is a fire animal in this deck. But yeah. Penelope Dreamweaver is also a helpful energy of making things happen. Let's see here. I can never say her first name. The Sylph. The Sylph. The Sylph is mercurial energy. She's all about fast moving energy. Sometimes it's like a 180 kind of a flip, but this is about navigating fast moving energy. I think once you get going on this, like you do the prep that you need to do to like go ahead in on this, I do think it's going to start, like it's going to require like a lot of you. Like I think you're going to be very busy. I think you're going to be pretty preoccupied. And I think you're just not going to have to keep up with that pace and just be mindful of that. For some of you, this does involve learning or like certifications or going to school or taking a course or taking some time, investing some time and money into actually cultivating the skill for what it is that you want to make a reality, whatever dream you're trying to make a reality. And that will require a lot of your mental space and a lot of your physical energy. So yeah, again, I'm getting 8 of Wands. Yeah, as you get going, you're going to be busy. But I think you're going to be fine. Can I get one more, please? For the Camel group. Whoa. We have undressing of the salad. Okay. Ooh, with Geo the slow. Pace. Even if things are moving fast, you can still pace yourself. Undressing of the salad is how it sounds. It's like, it's taking something apart and then seeing like all of the unique parts that make the whole picture. I feel like that's more in the planning thing, what I was feeling for you. I think that's way more the planning, research, and preparation. Looking at the nuts, AI hearing nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. 43 has come out twice for you, by the way. Just saying. On the 5th house card. And then Geo the slow. And also we have 31 and 13 on the dignified. So 31, 13, and 43 seem to be big numbers for you. Again, 3s and 4s, all right? Anyway, yeah, looking at the nuts and bolts. Yeah, don't get, in the preparation stage, don't get too far ahead of yourself. Don't get anxious. Don't get freaked out. Like, do your due diligence and pace yourself, pace yourself, pace yourself. Some of you guys are also going to get flooded with ideas, okay? Flooded with, oh, if I do it this way, then I can do that. But then if I do this, then I like all the possibilities, right? Which is also very much the collective energy this week. So as you get bombarded with all of the potentials and possibilities, just look at the nuts and bolts, do your research, do your due diligence, pace yourself. And when you're ready to do this, the camel is with you, okay? The camel's got your back. All right, let's do tarot. I'm going to go classic tarot for you guys, and I'll probably save the unicorns for the 3rd group. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you guys are very protected. It's had an interesting energy come in. I don't know if you're telling people about this. You may be telling a couple people. If you're telling anybody about this, just be mindful. I feel like if anybody starts to throw negative energy your way, like just judging you or whatever, just negative Nancy's, I feel like your team is not going to be cool about that. Don't be surprised if suddenly like relationships around you start getting weird, okay? The closer you get to this. You're number 1. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cataclop. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, don't be surprised if your relationships start getting weird. Okay. It's probably just going to be indication of like who's judging you, who's criticizing you, who's feeling some kind of way about it, you know, for those who know. Any messages or insights for the Camel group? Oh, music. It's like, what was that? Let's see. Mm, 10 of Cups and the 9 of Pentacles. So you are considering your happiness. The 10 comes after the 9 of Cups, which 9 of Cups is wish fulfillment. 10 of Cups is achieving that wish, that desire, and just really in it, right? This is what you're looking forward to. You're looking forward to just being in it, like the full fruition of what it is you desire, of your dream, of your passion. The 9 of Pentacles is also a very independent energy. It's confident. This is about your happiness. This is just about you and your ability to make it happen. You're ready for this. The 9 of Pentacles also tells me you actually have all the resources you need to make this happen, even if you doubt that, right? Again, I get the whole feeling like a risk thing. I get it. I totally get it. Because I do feel like some of you, there's a material like sacrifice that needs to happen, whether it's like your environment or actual money or time, something like that. But you have all the resources that you would possibly need to make it a reality. And you're not compromised. You're not vulnerable. You're not like 9 of Pentacles is super solid. Super, super solid. Hold on, let me get the chat back up. There we go. Okay. Anything else for the Camel group, please? Am I taking these? No. Can I get just 2 more for the Camel group? Another 9. 9 of Wands. I feel like, okay, first of all, 9 of Wands is resilience and stamina, okay? Camel also speaks to being resilient and having stamina, which again, you are probably going to need at some point when you really get underway. And I was seeing the 8 of Wands, and now we have the 9, which comes right after. So yes, it will require a lot of you, but you have plenty, okay? You have plenty to put towards this and make it happen and enjoy it. You absolutely do. If you do have doubts and insecurities, I do feel like you're almost going to need to dismantle this a little bit. Dismantle those insecurities and see them for what they are, dismantle the doubts and see them for what they are. I also feel like if it's because of a financial component, if you really take the time to truly look at your financial situation and like all of the pieces of what's involved in that and what you need to get to where it is you want to go, I think your anxieties and insecurities will be swayed. I think you're going to realize you don't need as much as you think you do. Yeah. You don't need as much as you think you do to make this a reality. They were just confirming that. I want to say you have more than enough. Can I have one more, please, for Camel group? One more, one more, one more. When it comes to your physical energy, just make sure that you are taking care of yourself, okay? Because I just heard sustainable. The only thing that I think would be difficult about this is yeah, just being in a sustainable pace with your own physical energy, okay? The material is fine. I keep getting, if you have worries about the material, it's not a problem. King of Swords, I love it, I love it. King of Swords is the master of air, excuse me. And he also helps us to discern the playing field. And that's how they were saying it, the playing field. So with this coming out, it's also really emphasizing to me that not only do you have the material resources, and not only do you have the energy and the desire and the dreams, but you also have the wisdom and the clarity and the strength of mind and intelligence to make this happen and to do it in a way that's sustainable. Okay? Very nice. All right. Let's move on to group 3, the Froggy Frog. Okay. How are we doing in the chat here? Oh, I didn't even know there was a camel emoji. It's kind of good to know. All right, frogs, my frog group. I already know it's going to be emotional. I already know it's going to be one of those reads. Don't forget to hit the like button, by the way, if you are in here and you are absolutely enjoying this. Oh, frogs. Frogs may have been coming up for you a lot. You may have been called to water and rest, and maybe even to go within. Like I'm getting Hermit 4 Swords. I feel like there's a lot going on with your throat. your ability to communicate, for some of you, your ability to stand up for yourself, to use your voice. That's coming through pretty strongly here for the frog group. But when this card comes out, it is a time to release something emotionally. It's time to cleanse with water, the element of water. Yeah, Eight of Cups is coming through with that as well. And for some of you, there's some grief that's been wanting to be navigated and recognized. When the bubbling up of emotions happen this week, if you haven't experienced it yet, you may experience it as anger and then like just really deep like soul cries. It's just movement. That's all it is. It's just the energy of all of those emotions just trying to move and trying to clear. So just allow it to happen if it was trying to happen for you. Okay. So frog, let's pull from the Fae. So I just did one shuffle. We don't have any cards out yet. I wouldn't be surprised if Dominus Gloom comes out. I'm just seeing him. Okay. If you're not familiar with these cards, he's a sad energy. Even if you see the picture, he looks very, very sad. He's kind of a card of self-pity, to be honest with you. Some of you guys have been allowing your hurt feelings and emotions to, I'm hearing, dominate your narrative. And I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. Some of you guys may have been playing out victim stories a little bit here, okay? Kind of like, woe is me, or I never get this, or I never experience this. Oh, it's always gonna be like this. You know, it's kind of like that. Oh, thank you, Astro cards. I immediately went right to the Fae. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, let's pull from the Astro Oracle. Thank you, appreciate that. Totally just forgot. Any messages or insights for the frog group, please? The frog is also the epitome of moving from muddy waters to clear waters, or at least coming out of the muddy waters and being out and witnessed and being in the light and all of that. So traversing muddy waters is collective, but it's definitely coming through very strongly for group 3, okay? Any other messages or insights for the frog group, please? I am getting Taurus. We'll see if Taurus comes out. Oh. Second house, House of Taurus. Oh, second house coming out. I'm hearing disappointment. Some of you guys are not feeling so solid when it comes to your second house here. That's actually how it feels. Like, it feels like what's muddied is actually your second house, which is interesting. So some of you guys may feel muddied around your money situation, your finances. Could even be confidence and self-esteem, like values and self-value also comes through in the second house. Sometimes health, I'm feeling a little bit of that. If there's a health thing going on, I feel, oh my God, my tongue is like hurting so bad now. I'm talking super funny. If it's a health thing, I actually think it's probably just a symptom of some like emotional spiritual disease, but this is definitely about like material security and how you feel solid in the physical realm feels muddied here. Okay. Yeah, there's something else trying to come through here. Oh, I'm hearing symptom. Any muddiness in the second house is a symptom itself, is also what I'm getting. It's a symptom and insecurity of what else is going on a deeper emotional level. Your second house has just been affected by it. That's where your focus is. You're feeling insecure about second house matters. Again, money matters, work matters, self-esteem, and for some of you, a little bit of health. But again, I feel like all of that is just symptomatic. Where are you going? What's your foundation? Is your foundation even steady? What are you doing with your life? Like, these are the things that are coming through. It was like a lot of negative self-talk, to be honest, and just a lot of insecurity around your own capability of being solid in your life. But the root of it is more emotional. Can I get another card for the frog group, please? Yeah, I do feel like a lot of you are needing to release a lot of victim stories. A lot of stories you have about your own character that are negative. Can I get one more, please? Whoa! Too many. I just want one. Can I just get one? The froggy frogs. Thank you. Getting sad. Getting sad, frog group. We have Juno with partnership. Talk about fours. You literally have 40 breaking down to a 4 and 31 breaking down to a 4. So fours are big for you and for Camel group, for those using the timestamps here, okay? Juno being about partnership is what it sounds like, right? It's about the contracts and partnerships we get into, whether they are friend-based, work-based, love and romance-based, or family-based here. There's a lot coming in here for you guys. I feel like the other reason you're so concerned about these kinds of matters are because I think you actually feel quite alone. I think this Juno energy partnership is something that you feel it has been evading you or just isn't very solid or present in your life. Yeah, it's this feeling of I'm on my own. I'm on my own, so I have to be like, not invincible, but kind of. Like my foundations have to be unshakable. My health has to be unshakable. You feel very alone. And I think that's probably even a narrative or a story. And I'm not invalidating your experience. You could have experienced a lot of loneliness or feeling like you don't have people on your side or in your corner. But this is what you're working through. I feel like the emotional dis-ease of all the stuff that feels muddy and confusing about that is actually coming from the lack of partnership, the lack of steady, reliable, consistent partnerships. Obviously, for some of you, that's going to go all the way back to childhood, right? Or just other experiences you've had in relationships where that support, that consistency just wasn't there. It just wasn't a thing. You probably learned very early on that you are the only one who you can count on. And so that has also just permeated your life experience for some of you. Okay? All right, now let's get into the Fae. Ooh, so much to say. Any other messages or insights, please, for the frog group? Is she doing collective signs or elements? I'm doing groups right now, and each group has an animal guardian associated with it. I'm probably gonna make the thumbnail a picture of the groups, just so you guys know. And either way, it's gonna be timestamped for later. So once we're not live anymore, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay. Oh man, guardian in the gate. Oh. This is positive. It's not bad. I'm making that sound because I know why this card is out here. So guardian in the gate is how it sounds, right? Even looking at the visual, there's a threshold, there's a gate to walk through. There is a transition of one reality to another, one belief to another, one version to another. Get past the gate, get past the threshold. To do that, you got to unmuddy the waters. That's what it is. That's what it is. Getting out of the loops of these stories and the sadness and these emotions, all of that, like severing of those karmic loops that I keep mentioning from the overview from the very beginning of this video. That is what is happening here. This card comes out to say, yes, you are on the precipice of shifting into something completely different, but this card also comes out to say you're being blocked from that as well sometimes, for the better benefit of yourself or even the future version of yourself. So yes, it can feel like a block sometimes, and other times it could feel like a really beautiful invitation. I feel like here it feels like a block. It's being perceived like you're stuck or you're blocked. You are and you're not at the same time. It's like there's no movement happening here because you need to unmuddy the waters, right? That's really what it is. You need to unmuddy the waters. You need to unloop from these narratives and these stories of being alone or even just victim stories. And that's why the frog is here, to help cleanse you of that and to get you literally out of the muddy waters into crystal clear waters and to get past the threshold. Okay. Some of you feel like you're really blocked in your money. Oh, again, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of everything else. Cards are freaking out. Okay. Any other messages or insights, please? Yes, some of you guys feel really blocked in your money. Yeah, I mean, this is like, not to sound cheesy, but this is like the fee. It's reminding me of the first reading actually for the Dragonfly. So you might resonate with more than one of these groups, just so you know. But it's reminding me of like the pound of flesh that was paid in group 1. That's kind of what this feels like here. Like the pound of flesh you're paying is like to give up these narratives, to give up the victim stories, to give up the looping on the karmic experiences. Let's see. Yeah, the Oak Man. I love this card. He always just looks so gentle and like so peaceful, right? Oh, the Oakman comes out as a card that speaks of passing of time, but not in space. So kind of being in the same space, the same state, same place, same environment as time has passed. These experiences are no longer happening. You don't have to be stuck in the past. You just got to unmuddy the waters. I mean, this is a very repetitive message, but it's very clear. The Oakman is very wise because the Oakman has also stayed put and watched people live out their lives. He's a tree. That's what trees are, right? They're chilling, doing what they do, staying in their same place and watching history unfold and learning from it and observing from it. Allow the past to be, yes, a teacher, but if the past is that painful for you, it is time to move through the pain. It is time to work with that pain and transmute it, let it go, see it for what it is, make peace with it, whatever words you want to use here, so you can actually allow the past to be something you could look back on and just look at it as, oh, the wisdom I gained from that experience, or oh, what I learned here and what I learned there, right? Whether you're learning about yourself or learning about people and relationships and the world or whatever, allow it to do that for you. Don't allow the past to be this like tool of torment, essentially, is what I'm gathering from that. Because you're just allowing yourself to be looping in it, you know? Can I get one more, please? Luathus the Wild. He's just pure fire. He kind of reminds me of a Knight of Wands, like Sag, but he also is a bit like a Phoenix Rising energy. He can be destructive, like literally rules destruction, but he can also be play and frolic and just that wild, primal, like untamed self. And that is something that is available to you here. Yeah, I feel like that energy is actually going to help you to sever these karmic portals. And it does feel like it's by fire. So interesting. So you're working very closely with water and with fire, because I do feel like there is an emotional release that does need to happen. And I want to say, like, really move out of your body. That could be through crying. It could be through screaming. It could be, some of you might actually feel the need to do that. If you're going to do that, scream to a pillow or something so you don't freak out your neighbors. Or go outside in the middle of nowhere and do that or something like that. Just saying. Some of you could really use like spiritual baths and things like that. Like water, it feels very essential. But once you clear with water, purify with fire. It also feels a lot too about like relighting your own sacred flame. Some of you feel like in doing this, you are reclaiming your sacred flame, which is just you. It's just the light of your soul. That's all it is. The flicker in your eye, you could even say. Yeah, and that's going to help restore play and curiosity and enthusiasm and all of that really, really just yummy energies. And also bring back this piece of you, this side of you that's willing to take on risks and try new things. And yeah, I'm hearing risk, like be like risk taking even. Yeah, so much about that just feels like a restoration of fire and like life and vitality and juiciness. But the water needs to come first. The water needs to come first. And like I said, Luathos is also destruction. Okay. He will help you to sever from those karmic portals, but don't be surprised if by doing that, also other things in your life get destroyed for the betterment of your own liberation and restoration of self. Totally. Also, don't be surprised too, once you move through these severings of these karmic portals, if people start flooding into your life. Because I feel like with partnership being the root of your emotional dis-ease and some of the muddying of your waters, I feel like as you close those portals, it's almost like closing, like clearing out space holders that other people from your past were taking up because you were thinking about them or you were looping on what's happened and where your pain was coming from in those experiences. So don't be surprised if those spaces get filled up with new people. Okay. All right. Tarot. All right. Let's do a little tarot. You guys are getting the unicorns. So let's go for it. Okay. Any other messages for the frog group, please? Caught you live. Hi, hello. I go live every Monday, just so you guys know. I do these weeklies every Monday. So set your notifications. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But just letting you guys know for those who did not know. I want to say, maybe I'll put this on Instagram. I feel like I'm just getting a very simple like affirmation. I release the torment. Relinquish the torment. I relinquish the torment. Because it feels like something you're actively playing out within yourself. And it's like, I keep getting the word torment. Torment. Like you're kind of torturing yourself a little bit. I relinquish the torment. Ooh. Come here. All right. Any other messages or insights for the frog group, please? Fill in the queens. We'll see if a queen comes out. But they're literally showing me Queen of Swords and Queen of Fire and Queen of Cups. The only one they're not showing me is the Queen of Pentacles. Which is interesting. I feel like some of you guys are about to embody the Queen of Pentacles, especially about like the muddiness and concern around your physical plane, the second house. There could be something that you could be mastering or moving into with the Queen of Pentacles space. Am I taking these? Yes. Queen of Wands, Eight of Wands, Ace of Wands, and the Chariot. Nice. Very nice. Ooh, let's put that on the candle. Queen of Wands is literally one of the queens they were showing me. First card out. Eight of Wands. Look at all that fire. What did I say? Clearing of watery, like using water to cleanse and clear, and then using fire to purify. More fire. Ace of Wands, and then we have the Chariot, which is Cancer. I think this is literally the epitome of what this is going to feel like after you do this emotional cleansing and you close those karmic portals, you relinquish the torment, right? And then you move into that fiery energy that's helping you sever all of that, but helping to restore your fire, your flame, your passion, your vitality, your excitement, your enthusiasm, all of that coming out here. The Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, there's a Seven of Wands energy there, which is bravery and confidence and willing to stand up for yourself. And that was the first thing I got when I pulled frog for you, when I was pulling the animals of you may need to like speak up for yourself and almost like stand up for yourself. It's really just standing up for your own fire, your own flame. I don't feel like you're up against anyone but yourself, to be honest with you. Anyway. Whew. So Queen of Wands, confident, mystical, magical, knows how to stir energy, stir up fire and vitality. She knows what she wants. She knows how to initiate. She's Aries, right? And then Eight of Wands is unstoppable movement, even communication for some of you. And the Ace of Wands is that sacred flame being restored and also working with this. I keep feeling like a looping happening here between the Ace and the Eight, almost like you get the little flame flickering again, and then you're actually stirring it and you're working in it and you're marinating it and you're getting it to like rage is also what I'm gathering here. This all feels like this is happening at the end of this process for you guys. And then the Chariot, you have enough physical energy and confidence and motivation and drive to move forward, to move in whatever direction you want, and to just feel victorious and triumphant over feeling so stuck and so muddied. It feels pretty amazing. All right. Okay, frog group. Well, that was pretty clear. All right. So that completes the weekly. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And thank you for being patient through our glitches at the very beginning, almost 2 hours ago. It's crazy sometimes, like how we can just get lost in time on these videos, I swear. But I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I certainly enjoyed spending time with you guys. And thank you for everybody who came out, supported, gave super chats. I really appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys later, okay? Take care, guys. Have a great night and a great week. And I'll see you soon. Bye.